So this was my first character I made for a video game that I wanted to recreate called Phantasy Star. Um, let's see, I added a couple features. I added inverse kinematics to his legs. That way I could animate him, which I eventually did. I had to rig him obviously first, and I created these. This was pretty interesting, I thought, as you can create copy rotation bone constraints on the fingers. And so if I rotate this, like if I go, I guess it makes more sense to go in the local and then rotate around like the Z. And then if I just rotate one, what would you call that? A flange. It rotates all the others. So it'll copy the rotation, so it'll get a greater rotation. And then because he's got the bone, the inverse kinematics on his legs, if I could like, move him up and down, or this is in the local, so I did Z, and then you could see his like foot stays where it is, but his knee moves appropriately, so you can animate running. So I made some animations for him, and this is one where he's running that I later I think I messed it up just now with the edits. Every time I make changes in Blender, I just revert the whole thing because I don't know what gets saved, which is bad. But anyway, um, so yeah, he's like kind of skipping now a little bit because of that. But um, I later was able to make more accurate running animations, and I was able to find more ways to uh, like shrink the time it takes to animate these things. So like maybe I have a couple other ones here. This was let's see, I have a jump, just kind of a weird one because I figured um, he would be falling for like quite a while if this animation played out, and so he'd kind of just be stationary towards the end, just like waiting for the eventual. Anyway, this was like an animation I spent a lot of time with, where he's supposed to be holding a saber, and then let's see, this is like the first animation you see in the game if you're playing one of the melee classes. So I wanted that. What are some cool things that I built? Let's see. I had a walk animation. This one's actually a little bit better. Um, I think maybe now after taking a graphics class, I understand the UV editing a little bit better, but you basically like take this image. This was from a tutorial I followed, and I basically just mapped everything onto a purple pixel so that he would just be purple is what it looks like I did. And then let's see, I have to stop the animation. You have one more on this guy. Grip. I guess that's just I have a T-pose and let's see, an idle animation, which is kind of just breathing. Um, but I later figured out you could have, so I spent so long making this mesh, and I figured out, and the armature, I figured out I could kind of use a template. So in a newer, I guess I don't have to even open anything. I could just show like if I go back to object mode, or if I guess I go to modeling or whatever, and then just like click off of everything. I want to stop that. Yeah, then go like, that just did that. Ready to go edit mode, object mode. Okay. You can, so this is like an add-on where you can use these like pre-made armatures basically. There's one for human. I could just like scale it up, and then could move it on the X, like put it there. And then so I wanted something that is standard everywhere, so I could apply the same animations and use the same weight painting between, like if I'm um, editing, okay, let me go to this guy, and then I'm like, well, somewhere there's weight painting so that I can properly rig him. But I wanted that to be the same for every model so that I could reuse animations without any kind of hiccups. But this um, thing doesn't have any kind of inverse kinematic, so I tried to add that to it and then remove some of the details from the face because my game wouldn't need it, and that's just an artistic constraint. So I open there's another guy. Let's see this guy where I figured out. So this is that same thing, but with less detail, no face, and I've created inverse kinematics for the hand, which allows you to just move this one bone and you can grab. So I wanted to update my old game character so that I could just properly, grab a saber without animating every hand bone. I could just use this. It's been so long since I touched this. Uh, I guess it's like that. And even that takes a long time because you're setting up the starting and end position so that nothing overlaps. And then as you're animating, you're still doing fine touches, but like this, that saber animation, for example, it would take like a very long time to produce. So I don't know how people actually do this in industry. Um, like you can imagine, let me go out to local. Like I can move this guy around comfortably and make like animations like that, but there's so many additional parts to move for. So if I want to like this is what I was doing before, like slap the camera. If I just want to make him do like a slapping animation or something simple, I have to move everything independently. So there's just a lot of abstraction that I haven't figured out. A lot of shortcuts that you can probably use. Like I don't want his arm to be twisted like this. I don't know how to solve all these problems. So I do everything slow and methodically, carefully, um, and I just have to check everything visually. So I'm still trying to find the best way to do that.